In this week's video, we're going to talk about how you are actually pushing customers away by displaying mile-long lists of products and services all at one time in one place. And if you implement the rule of three, you will attract more customers and more engagement. So stick around. Hey everybody, my name is Jonathan Glenn. If you want to learn anything else about me, just head on over to jonathanglenn.com. And don't forget, hit the notification bell, subscribe to my channel, and of course, give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. And with that all out of the way, let's get into the content. The Three Little Pigs, third time is the charm, three strikes are out, three acts in a movie. I'm gonna give you to the count of three. Threes are everywhere. And we have been digesting threes pretty much since the day we've been born. We trust three. We understand threes. And like the very best marketing, which is an act of memorization, we memorize threes. If there's two, it's kind of like just not enough. And if there's 5 or 6, it just gets overwhelming. Our brain just sort of shuts off. What ends up happening is it becomes work. So like I was saying in the intro, some business owners have a tendency to want to just list a long list of everything that they do. Like general contracting, it's like we do roofing and painting and framing and plumbing and heating and things. Thinking, well, if I tell enough people about what I do, then I'm going to be able to get more business. What's actually really happening is a person is looking at this list, wherever you may be displaying it, and it's work. So you're literally pushing them away. They're not reading it. So in this video, I'm gonna give you just 3 tips or 3 ways that you can display threes, think about things in threes, and how to implement that into your marketing and the way that you communicate with your business. Okay, so for the first tip, I wanna talk about how looking at your product or service and when you're describing it, breaking it down to its simplest 3 parts. So for an example, if you do plumbing, you do heating, cooling, and HVAC. If you're in finance, perhaps you do banking, insurance, and investments. Maybe if you sell media, you work in movies, television, and radio. So it's essentially looking at whatever product or service you are offering and really trying to distill it down to 3. So it's simple, bite-sized, and easy to remember for your customer. Okay, and my second tip, I want to talk about where you can display your 3 services or your 3 values or just 3 steps. Well, a great example is in Instagram. In your profile, you actually don't have a lot of information you can put in the profile there, but you can very simply have your 3 services, John's Plumbing, heating, cooling, HVAC, right there in the profile, so it's the first thing that they see. Or you can have your 3 steps to doing business with you. So on your website, you can have book online, we'll call you within 24 hours, send a service technician to your home. Always have 3 steps to very easily and simply engage or for a customer to get your products. And for my third tip today, I'm actually going to talk about how not to use the 3. Businesses will talk more about their values as a business rather than their product or their service as a business. As the example of John's Plumbing, let's say it's John's Plumbing, it's passion, productivity, and vision. Those would be more my values for myself rather than John's Plumbing, heating, cooling, and HVAC. A potential customer is going to be able to see my company name and very quickly in 3 bite-sized chunks know what it is that I do. When I'm telling them passion, productivity, and vision, it's not really telling them much of anything of how I'm going to help them. With any luck, they're going to know that I'm passionate and they're going to know that I'm productive and I'm going to carry out the vision that we all have. But just really make sure that when you're using your 3s when describing your product or service, it's super simple and very easy to understand what it is that you're providing. And that's it for this week's video, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Just to recap, we talked about the importance of using 3s when describing your product or service. We talked about where there are some areas that you can describe your product or service online on your webpage or maybe in social media, as well just as a really quick tip on kind of how to look at these 3 descriptions you're using and the appropriate way of aligning it with your business or your service. I really appreciate you hanging out, and we'll see you on the next video next week. Until then, peace.